So previously, these are the things that I worked on. I made a shirt, I showed his pants, and of course, the glasses, which I ended up kind of combining stuff, the pocket and the glasses again, and finally, the boots that did not ever happen, which I'll explain upcoming here. But that is how the last video went. And finally, we're at the finale. Thank you. Finally. I feel like this went on forever. So I ended up cutting all his hair off, as you can see. I just, it wasn't working for me. And so I decided to go with a wig. To start out with the wig, I used saran wrap to protect him. And of course, I want to use the doll that I'm going to make the wig for because I want it to be a perfect fit on his head. So I just wrap the saran wrap over his head, and then I just add like a rubber band around his neck just to tighten it up so that it fits well. As you can see here. And I do feel like at the end I was pretty happy with the wig. This doll, as you guys know, gave me a lot of trouble. So these are from the Dollar Tree. They're just like standard heavy duty pantyhose from the Dollar Tree, and I used those as a base. Now when I did this, I again secure that with a rubber band, and then I've never really done this before. I usually use white, but I was using these ones that were skin tone so I could see exactly where to put my Mod Podge. So that's what I ended up using, was Mod Podge. And I think I probably did about 5 layers of Mod Podge all together. And I was really hopeful that this would dry fast. What I did was I did it, and I used the blow dryer, and I dried it. And then I went to the next layer, and the next layer, and the next layer. And then I put it in front of a fan. And because I wanted to go ahead and start the wig, but it did not dry until the next day. So I was like, come on, what were you thinking? Mod Podge takes, especially that many layers, takes at least 24 hours to really set up. But it did help me to be able to do all the layers really fast using the blow dryer. And I just want to apologize really quick. I feel like I have been griping about my dolls, having trouble with them and things like that. And I think with this particular doll, the reason why I had so much trouble, well, the hair, it just was what it was. It was, I thought it would look good, but it didn't. And so that's not really anything other than I just judged it wrong. But the costume didn't really give me that much trouble at all. It was not being able to find boots, not being able to make boots, and glasses, not being able to find the glasses. Which, wouldn't you know, I found someone, possibly, I'm waiting for them to email me back, that might be able to 3D print them. If these people come through, I will definitely give you guys a link of who it is, because that would be amazing if they would do that for me, because then I can go ahead and send the client, I'll probably go ahead and send her the doll, but I can send the glasses later. While my glasses look okay, I think that they just don't look manufactured. Sorry, I thought I heard a noise outside. I thought something was being delivered. Anyway, so I used mohair, and I got this from a friend who apparently was allergic to it or something. And she was like, do you want all this mohair? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I just keep it in a big drawer. And I used, because I would never want to buy this myself. I feel bad about that, but somebody just gave it to me. I prefer Angora, which is just cut off of the animal. This one looks like it was, not pretty. I don't like that. So I didn't buy it. Someone gave it to me. But when I looked through all of my stuff, it was the easiest and fastest thing for me to be able to use. And Elton John's hair, when I went back and looked, his hair's a lot lighter than Taron Egerton's was in the movie. So I'm going with the movie version. So that's why I went with this color hair. So the glue that I'm using is amazing. It dries super, super fast though. So just keep that in mind. I tried to cut it almost immediately, and then I was like, okay, it's bending. So I just set it aside and decided to go ahead and just make a bunch of little wefts. And then when I was done, that stuff gets everywhere. The little hairs, oh my God, they're all over the place. They're just all over the place. So you have to really clean up after you're done. But um, I love the glue. If you couldn't see what it was, I'll make sure and link it below if I haven't before already. But I don't know if I have. I used it's like the best. I think it's because it just dries so fast. And then all I do is once I get the glue on the edge of the little wefts, then once it dries, I go and I just cut off the excess, so I can clean it up, because that hair is going to be entirely too long for the doll. So I'll have extra to be able to cut it and stuff. But yeah, I just sped it up for you guys here so you could see that I'm just trimming up the edges. And I didn't make enough hair. I had to go back several times and make more. And then it got just really repetitive. So I didn't show everything, but you get the gist of it. So once all the little wefts were done, and I was watching a really fun show called Shadow and Bone while I was doing this. I wasn't being very verbal during the week because I was kind of in a hurry to get everything done because, the show. So you can see I've already started to glue the wefts on, and I used the same glue, just right there, just popped it right on. Anyway, Shadow and Bone is on Netflix, and I absolutely loved it so much. I loved it. So it's kind of like a fantasy show, and it was a lot of fun, and I was really sad it was over so quickly. Only 8 episodes, but definitely worth checking out. I really enjoyed it. I also watched The Irregulars, which was pretty good too. So I think I caught up while doing this doll. I caught up on at least 2 shows. So all I do is I just go around like in a circle. So I do all the back, and then I just went around in a circle all the way around, gluing all of the hair forward, like down in the back, and then in the front I glued it forward. And then on the top I made a part, but then that didn't really, it kind of gave me flathead again, which I didn't like. So what I did was I glued some hair going forward over the top of that part. So it would, because when I looked at the videos, because I went back a couple of times and looked at the videos just to see how his hair was laying on the top, and he had it kind of brushed forward. So that's what I ended up doing. And it all worked out. The hair took a while to cut, though, I'll tell you that. It kept poking out and everything. So, but once I got it cut, and then I used my trusty styling cream, it all worked out. But you can see once you have the wefts, look how easy it is to make a wig. Like, it really isn't hard, especially since this glue dries so fast. There's no reason to even want to use hot glue or anything like that, because this is waterproof glue, and it's you got to be quick with it because it dries so fast. But yeah, it's awesome. And I'm able to even, because when you do hair like this, with any kind of wig, then you want to brush through it when you're all done. So you want to kind of make sure that the doll has a little bit extra hair, because when you brush through it, you're going to lose quite a bit. So then I just cut it, and I left the plastic on so that I wouldn't damage his face while I cut his hair, because we've already cut his hair once, and disaster. But anyway, so as I was going through and recording things, I don't think I got a lot of his costume recorded, unfortunately. And really, honestly, I'm glad that this series is over, because there was just a lot of video. This video was much, much longer, but I trimmed it way down and sped some of it up just to get, because it's, like I said, you can see what I'm doing here, so you don't really need it to be in real time. I'm just cutting the hair. But the costume, if you would like, I can put the. I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. I can give you the pattern if you want it. But all I did was what I always do, and that was just tape them all up, and then just made a pattern out of I just drew it on them and then just cut it off. And I embroidered, and I made a mistake here because I made the pockets, and I should have embroidered the emblems that are on his outfit. I should have put those on the pockets, like sewed them directly on the pockets. But what I tried to do was make an applique, and then when I cut out my applique, then I kind of cut some of the thread. So it's not bad, but it wasn't exactly. In retrospect, I should have embroidered the fabric before I made the pockets. And my thinking is that if I messed up the pockets, then I would have wasted all my time with the embroidery. But it still would have been a better way to go. Just a direct embroidery onto the pockets and then sew the pockets onto the doll. But once I realized that I wasn't crazy about my applique, I had already sewn the pockets and closed, and it was done. The outfit was done. I would have had to have taken it completely apart or started completely over. And I was already taking too long on this doll. Anyway, so now I'm doing is I'm just removing his wig. And then what I'll do is I'll cut away that plastic part, just pull that plastic part out of there. And then I use a special glue to glue the wig on. And then I'll cut it some more once I get the wig set on there. And I'll show you I'll put a link below what kind of glue I use. It's called Uni, I think. I want to say I had to buy it overseas. But I'm not going to swear by that. Could have been Amazon. Somebody mentioned it for making doll shoes, which I was horrific at, might I add. I've never made a good pair of doll shoes. I've tried and tried, but it's just awful. So with the glasses, what I did was I printed out the paper because remember I couldn't get the glasses to print on the clear because the white was coming out clear. So I printed paper and cut those out, and then I layered those on top of the plastic. And then I went over it with Mod Podge to try to smooth everything out, and it was just not smoothing out very well. So I didn't show it, but I painted over the entire part of the glasses with resin, and then I put it under a lamp, and that helped it make it look a little bit more manufactured, but I mean they still don't really look manufactured like I would want them to. So I'm hoping that the other glasses pan out, but at least I have something close to what I was looking for. Making glasses by hand like this, no. So we're on to the boots, and my friend Monica sent me a pair of old boots that she found in her stash because I could not find the boots that I needed. And I couldn't make the boots because I was just really bad at it. I should practice some more because it just did not work out. I think maybe what happened was I put too much of the polymer clay on the foot, and then I don't know, everything was just, it wasn't working out. I see Susan do it and she does it so perfectly, and then I do it and it looks like he's got a club foot. So that didn't work out. So what she said to do, because she had done it before, is to paint acetone on the boots, and this will take away the shine on the boots so that the paint will adhere. And I bought the two paints that I bought were a blue and a silver in acrylic leather paint so that it would adhere to the boots and it won't peel off or anything like that. It'll really stay there. I probably gave these boots a good 3 coats of silver paint, and then I just painted stars on it. So this was the best I could do for the boots for now, and I feel really bad about it because I have to say, since Tonner went out of business it's getting harder and harder to find supplies. And either I'm going to have to learn how to do, like, I've never really had to learn how to make shoes or boots because I always was able to buy them. But because I'm having such a difficult time, I'm gonna have to practice more on those things, those elements. I mean, I started out just painting the dolls. I didn't do costuming or anything. I didn't have to. And to be honest, I'm going to be doing more farming out, much more farming out, because I feel like the costuming is taking me entirely too long. Unless I just absolutely want to make it, I'm not doing it. For the platforms, I bought this stuff a long time ago. It's like a cosplay, not cosplay, but it's for cosplayers, and it's an air drying clay, and it's kind of cool, but it dries really fast. Not sets up really fast, but it dries fast. The work time wasn't great, so they were a little bit wonky. And what I did was I took my scalpel and tried to like sharpen the edges with the scalpel and just sort of cut away so that they looked more, like a shoe. And they were passable. Even now when I'm cutting it away, they were a little bit, they weren't even fully dry on the inside. But I did get a pair of boots, and all the parts that were torn on the boots I glued down before I painted them, and you really can't hardly even tell that they were damaged before. So that turned out, and most of the boots are underneath the pants, so it worked out, and the client is really happy with him. I will tell you that. So I was so relieved. So all I did was kind of try to shape those up a little bit, and then I just painted them with the silver paint because and had some coffee, obviously. I just painted them up with some silver paint. At the end of this video, I show you a painting I did for my sister for her birthday, and I also show you my bird cam. It's after the ending of the video, so if you wait around just a few more minutes, you'll see the painting and the bird cam. My husband installed this bird feeder, and then he got a little camera to watch the birds. So that was kind of fun. I can't remember what's after this part of the video. I feel like there's more, but I don't remember what it is because, like I said, I just painted these up, and I did several layers to make sure that it was nice and coated. The leather paint's really nice. I recommend it. It worked brilliantly on doll shoes, and it probably would work for other stuff too. I was super impatient. Like I just wanted to be, I like to keep going. I don't have patience for drying time. So you can see where I keep setting them down, and then I have to fix that. So here's where I painted the stars. And I just painted some stars randomly. I didn't follow any kind of pattern because I could only find cosplayers' boots, not his actual boots. So I just sort of did random different size blue stars. And I used the same paint for that too, just the leather paint. And it seemed to work out just fine. And then just fill it in. So I was really, oh, I remember now. It's a stand. Okay, so I started the stand, and I forgot that I was recording. So the wooden stand part I bought at Hobby Lobby, and then the base I think I got at a garage sale. It's kind of a thick wooden base. And so I decided to go with the blue, like his shirt, for the base part. And then I wanted to make the round part like a gold record. I had done Freddie Mercury for her from the other movie that was made, Bohemian Rhapsody. And I had made her the exact same stand with the wooden base and then with the gold record on top. So I decided to do that again for her on this one since it's the same principle, movie about a musician. So I just used the thing here to make like a little circle to make it look like a record. And then I just filled in the center with blue. So it was gold and blue. And then I had this really pretty iridescent color. Let me grab it. It's called Pearl White. And it kind of, I don't know, it has like a diamondy sparkly color from folk art. I really love this. It's so pretty. I ended up using that to kind of trim off the blue one because, well, you'll see what I do here in just a minute. So now I'm just sort of touching up with the gold paint. And the holes there are where the stand part gets screwed into that holds him up. So I'm just fixing up the base here. And it's just craft paints. That's it. I think most of them are folk art, apple barrel, stuff like that. Any random one that you want to use, it doesn't matter. So then I just touched up that middle, and then the next part, when that dries, I'll just use the Sharpie to make that center look like, a record. So I printed out Rocketman poster, and I set it up so that it would fit like right there on the edge, and I did the same thing with Bohemian Rhapsody too, so that her dolls would be similar. And I use just basic Mod Podge, which I put entirely too much on, just so you can see. I use a lot of Mod Podge for my projects. This is a great way to customize a base too, to print out a picture and then just Mod Podge it right onto your base. Sometimes they get bubbles though, so you have to be like really careful. Fortunately for me, this one went on smoothly. So I was really happy about that because sometimes they don't. Sometimes they wrinkle, but it didn't. So I just let that sit there. And then what I'll do is I'll give it several coats of Mod Podge on top of it so that, it's waterproof. So it's just old Mod Podging. It's exactly what Mod Podge is really for. And I also use it as a sealer for things like this, like my stand and stuff like that. So here's that pearl white that I found from folk art. And I went around the edges to kind of just trim it off so that it was kind of sparkly and looked pretty. It was kind of hard to do though. I thought I should have maybe taped it off, so that it would have been a little bit nicer. But instead I just worked on it to get it right. Then there's the little, I just used a Sharpie to make the black, like a record. And I use hot glue to glue down the two pieces together. Just hot glue. So that's the stand. And I just removed it to paint it so that when I was ready, I could just screw it right back in. And like I said, I got that stand at Hobby Lobby. And they're really inexpensive. And at the bottom of the base, I'll put some felt. Anyway, we're finally done, guys. I hope you can hear me over the music. It's probably gotten loud. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.